Hello there folks, hope you're all keeping well. In this video is my reaction to the news that Warren Gatland has picked his coaching team for the 2021 Lions Tour. Here's the coaching team going up on your screen now. Now I fully understand Gatland had some limitations with picking his team, with Andy Farrell announcing he wasn't going to be able to tour, preferring to stick with Ireland on their tour to the Pacific Islands. Graham Rowntree announced he wasn't available to tour either, preferring to stay at home for personal reasons. And Steve Borthwick, who was on the last Lions tour, he preferred to stay at home as well, the Lions schedule clashing with his duties as Leicester Tigers head coach. And I think England's poor form in the Six Nations has discounted their coaching team from going on this tour. But I think with who Warren Gatland's picked, it's a very good team. 3 Welshmen and a Scotsman. Steve Tandy is Welsh, even though he's the Scottish defence coach. With Neil Jenkins on kicking coaching duties, Robin McBryde looking after the forwards, Steve Tandy on defence, and Gregor Townsend the backs and attack coach. With Neil Jenkins as kicking coach, he'll be going on his 6th Lions tour. He's been on 2 as a player and now his 4th one as a coach. He's of course been involved in the Wales setup for a long time, done a good job with them and their kickers, and I think this is a good appointment. Of course, having been an excellent place kicker himself in his playing days, he's transferred a lot of that into his coaching, with excellent results for Wales and the Lions. His tactical kicking coaching has also been very good as well, so it was a pretty easy appointment, I think, and it was inevitable he was going to go. So it was a pretty easy choice for Gatland to take him again, I think. Robin McBryde in as forwards coach. Of course, Robin McBryde having also worked under Gatland at Wales. He did a decent job as forwards coach there and then was appointed as the Leinster forwards coach after the 2019 World Cup, and they've been having the success of their lives recently. He obviously knows how to work with very good players. One could argue he was unlucky to miss the last few Lions tours, but Graham Rowntree and Steve Borthwick have been considered just ahead of him. Graham Rowntree, of course, the forwards coach in 2009 and 2013 and the scrum coach in 2017. Steve Borthwick, the forwards coach in 2017. So now this is Robin McBryde's opportunity to prove himself as a good forwards coach on a Lions tour. I would have liked to have seen Paul O'Connell go with him, given his work with the Ireland forwards, but either he's not available or Warren Gatland didn't ask him. And in the current pandemic, I have some understanding as to why maybe Gatland's not taking a big coaching team on this tour like he did in 2017. But that's the way it is. As defence coach, Warren Gatland has taken Steve Tandy. As I said, Steve Tandy, a Welshman who is the coach of the Scotland defence. He's done a great job with the Scotland defence. In the 12 tests Scotland played in 2019, we conceded 32 tries. That was when Matt Taylor was our defence coach. And since Steve Tandy came in 2020, Scotland conceded 12 tries in 9 tests, and also conceded the fewest points of all the teams in the 2020 Six Nations. That shows the improvements that Steve Tandy has made to the Scotland defence. Players like Chris Harris certainly have really improved under his coaching. As I said, I understand Andy Farrell wasn't available, Sean Edwards probably too busy with France, and with England's poor form over the Six Nations, understandable why their defence coach John Mitchell is not considered. Also, I think the World Cup final, with how England defended in that game, is maybe coming into Warren Gatland's thoughts as to why Mitchell wasn't considered or wasn't asked. He might have been asked, I'm not entirely sure. But he's gone with Steve Tandy, and I think it's a really good choice. And Gregor Townsend has been picked as the backs and attack coach, and I think this is a good choice as well. Just look at how Glasgow played under his leadership, particularly in 2014-2015 when they won the Pro 14, or the Guinness Pro 12 as it was at the time. Played some fantastic easy on the eyes rugby, very physical at the breakdown too. One could argue against the box that kind of expansive rugby might not be the best idea, but I think Gregor Townsend had showed an ability to adapt as a coach after a really poor 2019, a poor 2019 World Cup, We went back to playing more pragmatic with Scotland and it worked really well for us, getting 3 wins in a row in the Six Nations for the first time since 1996. He'll really get the players playing for him. Hopefully we'll see a good balance with this Lions team in terms of them knowing when to chunk it up, but also knowing when to spread the ball wide and playing what's in front of them and actually not fearing taking this Springbok team on. And of course, both Gregor Townsend and Neil Jenkins were on the 1997 Lions tour to South Africa, which of course won that series 2-1, so both with a pedigree and know-how of how to win a Lions tour down there. And then of course you have Warren Gatland as the head coach going on his 4th Lions tour, his 3rd one as the head coach. I hope he does well. I might still have my personal gripes with him after no Scots were picked in the 2017 test side, but still he got a drawn series in New Zealand, which is a fantastic achievement, so yeah, how can I argue with that too much? But I do hope it'll be a good tour for him. It's very possibly going to be his last Lions tour, we don't know yet. But his CV shows he's more than capable of getting a good team together and preparing a winning Lions tour. Of course, there can be some gripes in the past with some of the decisions he's had made in connection to the value of the Lions jersey, like in 2017 with that called up 6 thing, where he called up players who didn't really deserve to be wearing the Lions jersey, Finn Russell aside at the time. And in 2013, when he called up Tom Court, who happened to be on holiday in Brisbane at the time in Australia, and he didn't deserve to be in the squad at the time, yet Warren Gatland called him in just because geographically it was a convenience. And he also, of course, called in Shane Williams on that tour, who only came in to play 1 game and then went home again. And he also picked 1 or 2 England players who were on tour in Argentina at the time, and one could argue didn't deserve their spot in the Lions tour at the time. But again, that's all a matter of opinion, and I suppose the results could vindicate Gatland for his choices. But I also think the uniqueness of the Lions need to be respected, and that players who are touring on the team need to merit their place on form. Some might say that contradicts my opinion on any Scots being picked in the 2017 Lions test team, but I think at least 1 or 2 deserve to be there that weren't. I know Stuart Hogg was injured, but hey-ho, that's whatever, it's in the past now. Hopefully we'll see more Scots make the test team this time, but of course Gatland has to pick the team he believes will get the job done against the Springboks. So that's my thoughts there, guys. Hopefully it'll be a cracking tour. Thank you very much for listening to what I had to say. Like, comment, subscribe, take care of yourselves, and I'll catch you later on.